Hello, everyone, and welcome to Craft and Chat with Miss Craft Princess. I am your hostess, Miss Craft Princess, and I just want to thank you so much for spending a little time with me this evening. I'm the owner of Miss Craft Princess Designs. I'm a handcrafted stationery and custom gift designer. I specialize in greeting cards for all occasions and gift items. You can check out my website at MsCraftPrincessDesigns.com and see all of the beautiful things that I make. You can also scan that QR code on your screen to check it out. I am streaming live on my Facebook channel, and I am on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Miss Craft Princess. If you're not following me, I would love to have you follow me. I'm also streaming live on the Creative Spirit channel lightcast.com. So I want to say hello to everyone who is watching. As you come in, I'd appreciate it if you'd say hello. Um, and we'll get started. So, what is Craft and Chat? This is where we get together every Sunday, 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time for about 30 minutes. And we are crafting, or at least I'm crafting. I don't know what you're doing. But what we're doing is resetting our minds for the week ahead. Here, where I am in Alabama, school start tomorrow after like a 2-week Christmas break. And I know there's some educators out there because I've been talking to them, and um, happy to have a job, kind of dreading going back after 2 weeks. So I invited them to come in tonight and watch too, and we're just going to reset together. The title of this was Don't Throw Away Old Calendars. Now, we have calendars here in my house. We have the wall calendars. Yeah, we have our calendars on our phone, but for what we want to make sure that the whole family knows, we put on wall calendars. So I saved some of those after the year's over, and I love using them because a lot of time they have beautiful, beautiful pictures. And so that's what we're going to do tonight. So I'm going to remove my face and I'm going to show you what's in the goodie box. And I want to say hello, Retta, and hello, Karen. And so she's grateful that her educator days are over. Yeah, I am sure. So we're going to come on into the goodie box. Let me get it over here. Raise this up just a hair more. Okay. So, old calendar pages, and these are from last year. And I just go through and I pick pictures that I like. And I'm going to show you, we're going to do something. There's so much you can do with old calendar pages. Aren't these beautiful? This was, I think this was a national park calendar. But it's just beautiful pictures. And why would we throw that away when we can use it? So I hope that you will look at your old calendars a little bit different. And I have some cardstock here. Here's another one. Old calendar page. Just beautiful. Got cardstock. Our scoreboard. We have some index cards. These are little Velcro dots. Got a crocodile and some grommets or eyelets. Some album rings. Corner rounder. Have my bone folder. Scoring tool, pencil, and some scissors. And that's just a scratch. There's always a scratch piece of paper in my box. So let me show you what we're doing. This is a traditional prayer board. Let me bring my face back for a minute. Oh, you can see it. You can see it on my desk. This is a traditional prayer board. And I have envelopes, and in there, you can put your prayers in these envelopes, and and then when they're answered, I have one down here that says answered prayers. And you just write your prayers and you put them in there. You can put as many of them in there as you'd like. I made this one last year in a class, and just had fun with it. And it goes on my wall, but you can't, this isn't portable, right? Like I can't be walking around with this prayer board. So, but I still have prayers that I want to jot down and keep record of and record when they're answered. And so instead of this big board, we're going to make a portable prayer board tonight. And we're going to do that with some old calendar pages. Hi, Donna from Dallas, Texas. Thanks so much for joining. I appreciate you being here. So let me kind of organize stuff. And so what I do is, just like I had the categories on that one, I've got categories like this one's my marriage page. I just looked at the pictures and decided what I wanted them to represent. This one is family and friends. Let's see. This one is business. This calendar page is going to be for finances. That's the one we're going to do tonight. See all that green in there? That's for the finances. And this one is going to be for faith. Okay? So we are going to at least do one. We might have enough time to do two. You know, I always say whenever I get with y'all, time flies. So let's straighten off the desk and try to get started. So the first thing I am going to do, these calendar pages are kind of flimsy. Okay. So I'm going to back them with the cardstock, but let's cut off some stuff. So we have the little ridges here where, you know, it was on the spiral. I don't need those. So I'm going to cut that off. Cut that edge off, toss it. And I have this little hole here, and I don't need that. So I'm going to get rid of it. And I hope that you can, this will help you decide that, you know, you'll look at calendar pages just a little bit different. So I'm going to reinforce this, and this is my finance one. I'm going to reinforce it with some cardstock. So I'm going to take my ATG gun, and we're going to put some adhesive on it. I hope everybody is having a wonderful evening. This is Craft and Chat. I do this every Sunday at 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And Karen is always with me in Arizona, and I don't even know what time it is there. But I'll have to figure that out so I can say that. But whatever time it is, thank you so much, Karen, for joining. And we just kind of reset our mind for the week ahead. That's what we're doing. So now we don't need that excess, so we're going to cut that off. Getting ready for the week ahead. And I needed the reset. I've been kind of relaxing myself because if you have followed me, you know, December, I had events every week. I don't even know what I was thinking. I was trying to kill myself, I guess. But anyway, we survived. So now I've reinforced that. That's why I put that on there. So we are going to kind of fold that over. And I need to find my ruler. Here it is right here. Because this is going to be, I want it 5 across. I've done, and I'll show you the ones I've done already in a minute. So I want it 5 across, and I'm not measuring because it's not that serious. Okay? And then I had the bone folder, so it can kind of help me crease that. Okay? This isn't difficult. Anybody can do it. You don't have to be a professional. Look, just look how pretty that is. Already that's pretty. Hi, T Barnes. Thanks for joining and Happy New Year. And so now we are going to take the bottom and we're going to fold it over a little bit. And I will crease that. And then we had our scissors, because that's a little bulky. So we're going to get, especially since I backed it with this cardstock, y'all. So we are going to get rid of some of that bulk that is in there. I've just been looking at these calendars, and I do a lot of stuff with old calendars, and we might have a play with the old calendar pages another time. If y'all enjoy this. And so what I'm going to do is kind of angle cut that. And that just gets rid of some of the bulk. And we're going to angle cut it here. I'm not measuring a thing. Get rid of that. And so now, that's how that'll close on the bottom. Now I have the top. So I've got it 5, and my other ones are by 6. Okay. So I am measuring a little bit because I need them all. I want them to be approximately the same. So let me fold that over a little. And before I crease it down all the way, I'll make sure that it's at 6. Look at that. I can eyeball like nobody's business. And then I'll kind of crease that. And we're going to cut some bulk away from that because that cardstock does make it bulky. So we're going to go in here and do the same thing on this end. But because I'm using the crocodile and the eyelets, I needed it to have some kind of bulk to it. Otherwise, after a while, those eyelets would tear that thin paper. So that's the bottom. This is the top. Crease it down real good, like that. And then I am going to use that. It might not do it. It might be too thick. That one might be too thick. So this is what we're going to do. We're just going to angle cut the top. One of them I was able to use that, but I didn't have to. Ooh, I snipped myself with the scissors. Okay, this is live. This is live. Okay, so now let's put some you know it, you just wouldn't be crafting if you didn't cut yourself, right? How many of us do that periodically? Just cut ourselves. Okay, so let's put a little adhesive on that. And we're going to put that down like that. Ooh, hold on a minute. I got my finger a little close to the I'm bleeding on. It'll be okay. I will be okay. I do not have bandages in here, and I probably should. And we're gonna glue that down. And we're gonna mash that. I know. Yes, Donna. I didn't realize those scissors, these are not the ones I usually use. And let me tell you, those bad boys are sharp. And I just barely snipped myself. But my. But I'm not on blood thinners. I'm not a diabetic or anything. So I will be okay. Sorry if I freaked y'all out. So we're going to take these because I need a closure for them. Because remember, I am putting index cards in there, and I want those to close. So I'm going to marry those together. And then I'm going to be very careful. Matter of fact, I'm not even using those scissors again. What they say, when you get bit, you just scared. So I'm going to go with these. Hi, Lillian. Hi, Janet. Thank y'all for joining. And see if they are strong enough to cut, because I don't need the whole thing. I just need to cut it in half. There we go. So I'm going to put these. These are dangerous. If y'all see me with these in the box, say, don't, Brenda. Put them back. Okay. So what we're going to do then is kind of place that in there and fold it over. Now, I'm going to give that a chance to catch. And while it's catching, I'm going to grab my crocodile. So let me show you some other ones that I have already done. I've already started it. So for you all who just joined me, we're making prayer pockets, okay? I have this prayer board that I made last year. And I put index cards in there with my prayers. And then I have a slot here for answered prayers. And these are the things that I'm praying about: my marriage, business, family and friends, health, finances. And then I have answered prayers. And then this year I have an extra one that says faith, okay? Because it didn't really fit in one of these last year, but I think I just put it in with marriage. But I can't carry this board around with me all the time. It goes on my wall. So I'm looking for something where I can just slip it in my purse. Let's say I'm in the doctor's office, I'm waiting, and I want to jot down a prayer. Okay. I can take these with me. They're portable. And so I, with my little label maker, my little Dymo label maker, we've been together a long time. I made labels and I put, this is the one that's my answered prayers. Look how beautiful that paper is. Isn't that beautiful? And what I do, and this is the one for health, I just saw green, lush, beautiful. And what I do is I put a little scripture on the back dealing with, so this is health. So I went with Jeremiah 17th chapter 14th verse. Heal me, Lord, and I will be healed. Save me, and I will be saved. For you are the one I pray. So, you whatever scriptures you want to put, you don't have to put scriptures. That's up to you. But I am going to now put the hole in it, and you see why I had to reinforce it, because they're going to be dangling from these. Now let's see if I can't deal with this finger. I think it may have stopped bleeding by now. We had a little mishap with a pair of scissors. They got a little happy, and that is why I was wearing that. And I need to have bandages in here. I'm going to have to keep it wrapped up. So but the show must go on. So that is what we're doing. We're adding to these. And so now we are going to take our proper dowels. So let me separate these, because I want to put the hole in the same spot every time. So, and that's why I was making sure they were the same size. And I just kind of take my pencil, because you know I'm not measuring anything, right? And I just draw a little circle, and then I will take the bigger side and I'll punch a hole right where I'm marked. There you go, hole punched. Now I will get one of these little, I call them grommets, and I'll put it in there. And then this part will mash it down for me, lock it in place. Give it a good squeeze. There we go. And then when I am ready to put an index card in there, and these aren't open, but I'll open them right quick. I'll just grab an index card, and I'll put probably 2 or 3 in there. Now that's closed, and I'll slide a card in there. There you go. Now that one was my finance. So I have a scripture that I have for my finance one. It says, honor the Lord with your wealth, with the first fruits of your crops, then your barns will be filled to overflowing, and your vats will brim over with new wine. Proverbs 3rd chapter, 9th through the 10th verse. Again, this is optional. You don't have to put, and these could also be, if you're into junk journaling, these could be envelopes for ephemera. You could just do so much with them. But the thing of it is looking at an old calendar and saying, how can I use that? And so I just have a scripture that works for me. And then this is finance. So I will take my little Dymo and I will type in finance, FINANCE. And then that way I will know exactly what this one is for. Okay. And then we will open that up. And then when I get them all on there, I'll probably make like some cute little, and you could have put this anywhere. I just chose to put it down there because I really didn't want to obstruct any of my pictures. And so now I've got my answered prayers. I have health. I have finance. And when I get them all done, I'll probably make some little cute little dangle thing or something. And then all of these will be ready and they will go into my purse. And this is a lot more portable than this. Think about it. If you walked around with this big board, people would think you have lost your mind. But you're still able to have a prayer board. This would probably work for a vision board. I don't know. I honestly don't do vision boards, but that could probably work for that. But it's just repurposing something that was useful and giving it new life. And so I have all of these calendar pages. I'm going to do another one because I have the time. So let's do another one. This one is marriage. Very important. Pray for your marriage. So I'm going to cut those fringes off. This is where the calendar was connected coil. And then I'm going to cut that little circle off because I don't need it. The little hole where it was, you know, in the nail went through. I don't need that. So I'm going to cut that off. And then I'll just kind of glue that down. And this cardstock simply gives it some enough oomph to sturdiness, if you will, to take that grommet and be able to travel. The rings won't tear the paper because calendar paper is thin, or at least this calendar paper was thin. And I just pick something. I just go through it and I look at the pictures and I think, well, what do I want that one to be? So this one's going to be marriage. And you see how quickly they come together, you know? And then we'll go in and cut off the excess paper. Cut off the excess paper. I'm going to cut that one down just a little bit more. There we go. And now we just start folding. Retta says, a cute idea. Well, I am so glad you like this. I am so glad you like this. I'm just trying to make sure I got that. Yeah, see, that's why I look, because it was upside down. It's going to be upside down. The sky needs to be at the top. That's why I look. But, and I want this to be 5 wide. So as I fold it, I just kind of check it to make sure I'm getting the 5 wide. And if I'm not, I loosen it up a little bit. There we go. And then I mash that down. And I use my bone folder just because that cardstock makes it just a little stiff. So that's 5. That's perfect. So there's my little bone folder. Makes it a little stiff. There you go. Then you fold the bottom up. And that's it. You're folding up the bottom. So if you didn't have a bone folder, but you wanted to do this, what could you do this with? Well, you have calendar paper. You might not even want to put the grommets on it. And if you don't, then you don't have to reinforce it like I did. If you're not going to put these on there, if you're not going to put it on the ring. So then you don't need the cardstock. You don't have a bone folder, not a problem. Use a ruler. You got a ruler in your house, use the ruler. That's what you do. You got scissors. Make sure they're not too sharp. And then we're just going to cut off some bulk. So I'll cut off a little bulk here. And I might go over my 30 a little bit, but we're not going to sweat it because it's not going to be by much. And then I angle. And we're angling that so that we don't get a lot of bulk in there, so that it'll fold. Okay, so you got that part. Okay, and then you want to fold this part down because you got to have a cover, a way to close it down. So you fold that down, and mine is 5 wide. Mine are 5 wide by 6 long. So I just measure to make sure that they're at 6. So I can fold that down a little bit more. Okay, I'm at 6. Don't have a bone folder. Use a ruler. And it might be easier for you not having that extra layer of paper, but I do. So let's see. So we're going to go in. We're going to take off a little of the excess here. Take off that excess. Remember that and we're doing it on the folded lines. And that just makes it easier to close. Okay, and we will angle. And we will angle there just like we did on the other end. And so now we have it, and it is time to glue it. So we're going to put some glue here. We're going to put some glue here. And then up here, we are going to use the other portion of that. You know, I took these Velcro. Now I'm using Velcro. I took that other portion of that Velcro and cut it. So I'm just going to pop it right in here. Try to get it towards the center. Okay. And fold it over. And then I'm not going to fool with that right now because I want to give it time to set, if you will. And while it's doing that, I'm going to take one of these. I don't know why I fastened it back. I think it was just to show you how it went together. But I need to make a hole. So we're going to mark our hole. And it just helps. That's why it helps if these are all the same size. We're going to mark where we're going to put our hole. We get our punch. We punch on our mark. There we go. And then we get a grommet. These come in all colors, but I'm just keeping it simple with the silver. And we are going to set it. And there we go. We have another one. Now see, those are taking shape. Those are taking shape. Then I'll make my little sticker that says marriage, and I will put my scripture on the back of it, and then they just keep forming, and they'll be on this ring, and I will take them with me, put my index cards in them, and whenever I have something that I want to pray about, I can carry it. So I hope that you enjoyed this. This is what it is. It's a portable prayer board, if you will. A portable prayer pocket. That's what we're going to call them. Portable prayer pockets. And I made these using calendar pages. Look at that. How cool is that? Did you know your calendar could do that? Now let me bring my face back up. I'm going to bring this down, bring my face back up. Did you know you could do that with old calendar pages? I hope that as you look at your calendars, that the ideas start popping. And if you're like me, you just save them. So thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it. I appreciate you're interacting with me tonight. It makes this so much easier when you do that. Again, I am Miss Craft Princess. I own MsCraftPrincess Designs, and I just make cool stuff. So I'll be back next Sunday, 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time for Craft and Chat with Miss Craft Princess. I hope that you will mark your calendars and join me when you can, because I'm here every Sunday. Have a blessed week, and until next Sunday, remember, giving a handcrafted greeting card is like giving a hug, and using old calendars is cool. I'll see you next Sunday. Bye.